Hello, I'm Suzette Mullen of Your Story Finder, book coach, memoir writer, and avid reader. Welcome to your next read with Suzette. And here is your next read, Leaving Isn't the Hardest Thing, essays by Lauren Howe. So I want to tell you why I read this book. My friend and voracious reader and author Jamie Beth Cohen and I often trade books. Now, most frequently they're memoirs. And Jamie recommended Leaving Isn't the Hardest Thing, which is really a memoir in essays. When I researched the book online, I was like, I cannot believe I haven't read this yet. So first an aside before I dig more into the details of this book. The vast majority of the books I read are recommendations from friends or writing colleagues I respect. And I suspect that is the case for many readers. Think about the last few books that you read. What led you to read those books? Word of mouth marketing? Wow, if you're an author, you gotta love it. So here's a quick look at what this book is about. Reading from the back cover, which is also known as a jacket copy. I'm just gonna go ahead and read it to you. As an adult, Lauren Howe has had many identities: an airman in the U.S. Air Force, a cable guy, a bouncer at a gay club. As a child, however, she had none. Growing up as a member of the infamous Children of God cult, Howe had her own self robbed from her. The cult took her all over the globe, but it wasn't until she finally left for good that Howe understood she could have a life beyond the family. At once razor-sharp, profoundly brave, and often very, very funny, the essays in Leaving Isn't the Hardest Thing interrogate our notions of ecstasy, queerness, and what it means to live freely. Each piece is a reckoning of survival, identity, and reclaiming one's past and future alike. Wow, that's a lot. So a collection of essays like this isn't a straightforward narrative like you'd find in most memoirs with a clear beginning, middle, and an end. Although in a strong collection like this one, the essays are strategically placed together, so they do tell a story, just not a chronological one. I want to read to you just a couple of paragraphs to give you a taste of Howe's writing. So the first thing I'm going to read to you is the opening paragraph from her opening essay, Solitaire. If you ask me where I'm from, I'll lie to you. I'll tell you my parents were missionaries. I'll tell you I'm from Boston. I'll tell you I'm from Texas. Those lies people believe. I'm better at lying than I am at telling the truth, because the lies don't make me nervous. It's the truth, the thought of telling it, that triggers my awkward laugh and my sweaty palms, makes me not want to look you in the eye. I know I won't like what I'll see. So I don't know about you, but this opening makes me want to read this book. The author packs so much in here. She makes me curious. And without getting into all the specifics, I know what this book is about, just from that opening paragraph: identity, lies, and truth, and belonging. Here's another taste of her writing. This is from an essay entitled Slide. This was where I was supposed to fit in, the gay community. But the wealthy white population of DuPont Circle, with their straight white teeth and gym tans, Abercrombie and Fitch t-shirts and J.Crew flip-flops, their therapy appointments and brunch dates, their Rehoboth vacations and weekends in New York, were so effing happy and well-adjusted, it made my skin crawl to be around them. Happy, well-adjusted people don't join the military. They don't have to. Goes without saying that happy, well-adjusted kids weren't common in the cult either. But both cultures, the religious cult and the white teeth gays, share a rule about smiling. Both believe in the power of positive thinking to keep things like homelessness at bay. This way, when you fall, you only have yourself to blame. There has to be a reason, because no one wants to think it could happen to them. So I want you to pay attention to a couple of things here. Those specific concrete details that she wrote, not just flip-flops, but J.Crew flip-flops, not Old Navy or Walmart flip-flops. Concrete specific details are what readers will remember, and it makes great writing. So the key takeaways from this book: there are many flavors of coming out, not just coming out as queer. While you may not have grown up in a cult, come out as queer, or been homeless, there's likely been a time in your life when you felt like you didn't belong, that you didn't have a place in the world, that you were an outsider. Now, whether it's a novel, a memoir, an essay collection like this, or even a self-help book, the best books, in my opinion, connect with some universal truth deep within us. They help us feel less alone, less crazy. They help us feel seen. And leaving isn't the hardest thing, succeeds on all those fronts. Now, who should read this book? Well, readers who appreciate stories about identity, including LGBTQ+ coming out stories. Readers who like rags to riches stories, but spoiler alert, I'm not sure Hal gets to the richest part, but she sure battles a lot: underemployment, sexual harassment, and homelessness, to name a few challenges. And readers who appreciate sardonic humor, especially with a liberal sprinkling of the F word. And writers, especially memoir writers, who are interested in writing longer form essays or a memoir in essays. This is a great mentor text. If you like this book, consider reading Nickel and Dime by Barbara Ehrenreich. That also tackles poverty in America. You also might want to consider She's Not Here by Jennifer Boylan. It tackles identity and coming out. And one of my favorites, anything by David Sedaris. He sure writes funny, just like this author does. For more book tips, check out my Reader's Corner posts on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and visit my website, yourstoryfinder.com. Leaving isn't the hardest thing. Essays by Lauren Howe is your next read.
Your Next Read with Suzette was produced by So Good Media at the Candy Factory, a co-working and social club in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Check it out at coworkinginlancaster.com. Learn more about Suzette and her book coaching services at yourstoryfinder.com. So good.